Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful day in Southern California, and today we are taking a look at this breathtaking 1949 Cadillac. This car is gorgeous. The paint on this thing is so flat. Look at that. It is like a mirror, and that is gloss black. Beautiful, beautiful color. Wonderful car. And we look on the inside. This car has a completely custom interior. It is a beautiful burgundy. Goes great with the black. You can see all the burgundy accents on the door panels. This thing is gorgeous. But today, we are not looking at the outside or the interior of this car. We are going to go underneath and take a look at the undercarriage, where all of the great mechanical engineering goes on for the suspension and how all the components are routed. So here we go. First thing you will notice on this car, all the underneath here, it's either flat black, gloss black, or the same burgundy that we saw on the interior. Every single nut and bolt in this car has been addressed. Everything has been touched. Everything is custom. Even this front suspension. Take a look at this. This is a Fat Man Stage 4 front suspension with air ride. It has a heavy-duty front sway bar with urethane bushings. This is cool. This allows this car to either ride at ride height on the street and look mean or drop all the way down to the ground. But it still handles like a dream. This is fantastic. All right, and look at this. We've got these two great big coolers for the transmission. This car is outfitted with a late model North Star V8 engine. So, of course, it has a heavy-duty transmission and it needs these coolers. But look at how everything is laid out. All the suspension components, everything is really well welded. Everything is set up perfectly. It has a rack and pinion front suspension, disc brakes, and all these tubular A-arms. This is a cool front suspension system. All right, so let's go underneath here and look at this. So we talked about that North Star motor. Well, that North Star motor is a big motor. It has this heavy-duty cross member on here to hold the motor up with big rubber isolators. So this is really well done. You don't get any motor vibration at all on this car. It is so, so nice. These big tie bars tie the transmission into that heavy-duty front suspension and that front cross member, which gives it a nice, hearty, solid connection. And it has this great heavy-duty rear cross member. And this is all integrated into the front, right into the frame. And it has a heavy-duty rubber isolator as well. Really great setup. I mean, this car is well engineered. Look at the exhaust. So the exhaust goes down, passes through the frame here, comes along the side. It's got two great Dynamax mufflers, one on each side, full dual exhaust. Then it crosses back through the frame here, comes along, goes over the rear end, and comes out in the back. You know, it's these kinds of details. The way this car is laid out, really, really, really thoughtful. Very, very well done. Drive shaft angles are all appropriate. Everything lines up really well to that 9-inch rear end, which is, of course, a heavy-duty rear end to be able to also handle that transmission and that motor. So let's go over here. Because this is a fuel-injected car, it does have high-pressure fuel lines. You can see that everything is A&N fittings and hard lines all the way down the frame. Keeps it nice and clean, but it's exactly what that fuel injection system needs. And then let's take a look at this rear suspension. So once again, heavy-duty sway bar in the rear here. Makes this car handle really nice. This is a unique setup, though. It's actually kind of like a 4-link rear suspension in that they're using the leaf spring as the bottom link for the 4-link, but then it also acts as a rear perch mount. So you can see the leaf spring goes all the way across. And then at the top would be the top link for the 4-link, which helps keep the rear end completely parallel. Looks fantastic. Everything again done in gloss black. All these great Heim joints on the sway bars, urethane bushings on everything, and of course the same air ride system in the back. So this car can be lowered all the way to the ground. One nice feature, these heavy-duty bump stops, they help keep the car from going all the way down if something were ever to happen with the air ride suspension. So if you ever had it completely deflate the airbags, you could easily, safely get to the side of the road and not have any problems. So this is a well laid out rear rear end and rear suspension. You can also see here we've got our emergency brake, we've got our parallel bar. Everything's done really nice. So this car is functional and really well engineered. And once again, the rear disc brakes like the front disc brakes. And we'll float back here and take a look at the back. Come all the way back around the rear. There's that 9-inch rear end. Shocks are mounted to the rear side of the rear end. Pretty normal. Very well done. Now the gas tank does have an additional sump in it. This is because this is a fuel injection car. So it needs that extra fuel, and that extra space for that fuel pump to sit down into ensures that the engine never runs dry of fuel. It gives you a really nice setup. I mean, this is great. And then the dual exhaust coming out the back here. So we'll go back through it again here in just a second. So here we go back through it. We've got our sump and our gas tank, our rear dual exhaust, our 9-inch rear end. We've got our 4-link style rear suspension with airbags. We've got the cross members for the universal joints and the bearing, carrier bearing that goes so that the drive shaft has the correct angle when it hits the rear end. You've got the X bracing on the subframe, and then you've got this great Dynamax dual exhaust all the way up here to this custom cross member for the transmission, this custom cross member for the engine, tubular A-arm front suspension with airbags and a sway bar, disc brakes all around, and such a clean custom. And this is really a neat car. I've enjoyed showing this to you guys. I hope you've enjoyed seeing it. I always get a kick out of just going through a build like this. It's wonderful to see how well it's engineered, all the time that somebody's put into it, all the love and care. And, you know, like I always say, the details, that's the magic on these cars. The details, all the little items that they took the time to address, make sure they were correct, make sure that this thing was mechanically sound and incredibly well engineered. All right, folks. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this.